Hello, hopefully I can be heard right now. If not, just tell me and it might help. Yeah, lately what I've been trying to do in terms of recovery from the surgery and stuff like that. Um, I've been wanting to get back into um, just as I say, just get back into to just doing stuff like I used to do, and hopefully that transpires um, when I eventually start doing it properly. Although by no my luck, it won't be the case. It'll be a case of okay, I've said it now, and then once I'm back there, it's like I won't have a chance to do that. So, well, I will have a chance to do it, but it will be a case of just doing it on certain days. You know. Hey, HoneyBunch, it's good to see you. How you doing, guys? If you haven't done so, feel free to smash a like. Feel free to retweet out the stream, even though it's pretty boring just now. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, because one of my biggest worries, Honey Bunch, was the fact that it wasn't coming across clearly. And I listened to a few videos that I'd recorded, pre-recorded, and I couldn't hear my own voice at all. All I was hearing was the voice, not the voice, the the game, the game sounds, and so it wasn't quite as good as what I wanted it to be. Leo, she gave me a little bit of a help, and that was good as well. And it worked at the time, but then I think what happens is there's so many updates with these sort of programs. They change every time. How you doing, Honey Bunch? Anyway, oh, awesome. That's good to hear. Thank you, guys. If you want to, just feel free to spam out the mini talk. I'm gonna call it onto Twitter, whatever you've got, and instant like that. Just say hello. I've been doing well. So sick of this note. Yeah, you know something, right? I was coming back home and it was very cold. It was very cold, and there was like those how do I call them, bulk bins? They're being blown over, and then now the snow's started to hit again. So it's like, but I did see one thing which surprised me, and it was a bee. I saw a bee today, and that poor bee was was probably out of kilter big time. It was quite funny because I'm not a fan of those sort of insects like bees or wasps, but obviously wasps don't come out until the real summer, like July or August or something like that, you know. But the bees come out early, and I saw this thing. It was flying right towards me, but this thing did not have any interest in me at all. It was just like, no, no, no. I'll avoid you, and I'll be happy with that, you know? Yeah, it is Honey Bunch, but the only problem with it is, um, March can be colder than December here. You can get, like, -15 and stuff like that in March and April. It isn't until you get to May when things really start warming up, you know, so it's yeah, I think he was. It's probably just a queen bee because I think the queens are quite they tend to be more tougher than the male drones, which is mm, I get it because they do a lot of the work, you know. They do a lot of the work, and they sleep through the winter and stuff like that. So I understand it. You know, I understand it. Oh God, yeah, yeah. It used to be like that here, Honey Bunch. February was usually the worst, but I find now, and especially in the last 20 years, April is probably the coldest month of the year. March, sort of late March, early April, because you get like 10 feet of snow or something like that, and it's like you don't get that in Christmas time anymore or January. You know, it just tends to be a case of like the later months. The supposed spring months. And there is no spring anymore. To me, it lasts for about 2 weeks, and then suddenly you've either got extreme cold or you've got warm weather. You know. Yeah, I'm hoping to do so because it's something I've been wanting to do for a while again. I used to do it, as I've mentioned to you before, years ago, and others. Um, I'm using a new system just now, so it's taking me a while to get used to it. So how you doing anyway? So I've got a new computer, so it's like I did buy a camera, but I'm not using it just now. I'm just using the main thing, whatever you wanna call it. So I'm not very technical minded, so not so much gaming streams again. I mean, I would like to do stuff like sitting in the park and see when I'm finished work and stuff like that, just on my way home and sit for like say 10, 15 minutes and just say, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna sit and chat for a while and things like that. I want a new computer, not for gaming, just yeah, yeah. Well, to be honest, um, I love gaming, but I would love to be able to just. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your phone easily, and but it's not the same. To me, it's not the same. But then again, you've also got the other side of humping your computer down to the the park or on your way home and things like that, so it doesn't quite work. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Just chilling and relaxing streams and stuff like that. That's always good. Just people seeing you for who you are and what you do, in general. So how was your weekend? Should I ask? I know it's Wednesday, but how was your weekend and the start to the week anyway? No, I'm just testing out things just now because I've got a new PC and stuff like that. Obviously, I can't, as I said earlier on, I can't exactly just hump that down to the park or to my work or stuff like that, you know. But I can use my phone. But when I'm using my phone, I get so many updates and things like that when I'm trying to record stuff, and it drives my mind more insane than usual. Your weekend was good. Let me. Okay, okay. That's good to hear. Well, as long as your weekend was good, that's a good thing. No, I've just been doing a bit of testing since I got back, and I recorded like 3 videos today, and when I listened back to them, my voice wasn't coming through. I thought, oh no, you know, I was so confident that I would have had them, fixed and done and stuff like that. But it's all trial and error. You've been working a lot, but I'm kind of a lunch break from it, I guess. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. You had a snowstorm yesterday and your kids were off school. Oh, okay, okay. God, I miss the snow days. I miss the snow days. And it was crazy. Even back then, I'm talking 20 years ago, and they would try to still get you into school, but uh, at one point they would have to say, "No, we can't do this. We can't do this. We have to sort of call a snow day." You know? Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. HoneyBunch. I'm sure it will. Yeah. So what I've been trying to do is just basically just test things out and work things out because, as I say, I'm not that technically minded in terms of you know I suppose technology is the word to use. You're homeschooled, so didn't get a proper snow day. Oh wow! You know something that's probably something that's coming in much more now is the homeschooling thing, um, which I actually think is not a bad idea. But the only problem is if you've got both parents working away, which which was in my case, so there was no choice. I mean, so it was a case of I had to go to school. Damn it! You know? Yeah, I had to go to school, unfortunately. But I do understand the benefits of homeschooling if you have the opportunity to do it. I think it's a good thing. Either that, or you can get some sort of tutor involved as well, who's working maybe self-employed or something like that. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. 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 And my parents were very much people that they just didn't want to be involved and stuff like that. They just wanted to be working. But to their credit, it was to keep us going and stuff like that. So I suppose it's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, you know. I think given the choice, they would probably, well, one of them for sure would prefer the homeschooling, you know. I think a lot of homeschooling has teachers teaching stuff so the parents can pick a curriculum. Oh, I think I know what you mean there, by the way. See, the problem here, not problem, it's not necessarily a problem, but it may be a problem to some parents, is the fact that I don't know. I think kids don't get taught right from wrong nowadays. There's not enough discipline, you know. I think a lot of homeschooling now you can do online is easier. It's see, I'm in two minds about that, Honey Bunch, because I still think you need to have interaction with other people. You need to have interaction with both adults and other children or other students, whatever you want to call them. It's not something I'm ever going to be an expert on. But I do see the benefits of homeschooling, especially nowadays with what's going on. I know the pandemic's over and stuff like that. Well, especially in this country, but because nobody talks about it anymore. I think the fact that the whole European possible war is going to kick off anytime soon, it's a little bit scary. You know, I still had a lot of interactions with kids and adults, and I got my first job at 14. You know something, obviously, with all due respect, um, my mum and dad would say that they would say to me when they left school in the late 70s, they could literally walk into a job and say, "Can I have some work?" And they would get it there and then. Um, it's not like that nowadays. Nowadays, it's all a case of having to go through red tape and go through everything online and stuff like that. And it's, I would say it's a lot more difficult, you know, and not just difficult for the person that's looking for the job. I would say the person that's actually trying to employ these people, you know, because I would rather somebody that could just come in and say, okay, I'm looking for work. I'll take them on, you know, depending on their attitude and if they had a good attitude and were eager enough, and you would say, yeah, I'll take that person on, you know. Yeah, yeah, absolutely it is. It's all about, not all about all the time, but most of the time it's about who you know. It's definitely about who you know because that helps a lot. That helps a lot. You could be somewhere in, say, you could be in Nebraska or something like that, and not know a single soul, and you don't know anyone there. Or you could be somewhere in your own home state or hometown, and it's so much easier. And family help too. You know, family help too. So yeah, I've just been trying to figure out how to get my voice on top of a game. Um, that's not always a good thing. Yeah, we've had tons of them, HoneyBunch. We've had like four. There was Storm Eunice, there was Storm Hugo or something like that, and there was a couple of others as well. And the amount of like bins that are just thrown over the street, and there's like garbage everywhere, you know. So yeah, we've had them, that's for sure. Yeah, I think the worst one was 120 odd miles an hour, but that was down in England. That wasn't so much here. Um, Although I think the strongest wind ever recorded was up here in Scotland. I think it was 156 miles an hour, but that was in the Cairngorm, which is expected, you know. Yeah, I suppose it's just a February thing, but hopefully, um, once March hits, we'll be into the springtime, and hopefully things will start to warm up a bit. The funny thing is, I was telling someone that I saw a bumblebee, which actually was quite weird because of how windy and cold it was. But this thing was just flying about, probably looking for daffodils or something, you know. Um, I think he was out of luck though, or she was out of luck because it's usually the queens that do that, you know. But it was quite funny because the bee was coming straight towards my head. I thought, oh no, no. But they're usually quite friendly, quite of insects anyway. So how's like where you are just now? Uh, to a degree, I suppose. You get all the wasps and the bees and the blue bottles and things like that. Um, but the wasps don't really come out until about July, August, like proper when they're really big and stuff like that. But in terms of like bees, that's just normal. It's just like anywhere else, you know. Once the warm weather starts to well, I say warm, but the warm air weather starts to come in, um, yeah, they just do their own thing. They just want to make they want to do their work basically. That's what it is, and they won't bother you unless you bother them. Like if you were to run to like a hive or something, you know, that's different. It's just still, yeah, we've got snow coming up in the next few days. The snow will melt fast once it warms up. I live in the upper Midwest. Are you near the Chicago area or Illinois or something? Yeah, the lake effect. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, I've heard about that before. See, I think where I am as well is probably quite a similar thing because you can get these sort of like what's the word? I'm gonna say the word fake, um, fake spring, and then suddenly middle, as I say, middle of March, it can just suddenly hit like -20 and it's like snowing again. So it's not really until sort of April, late April, early May, when it really starts to settle down and it starts to warm up properly. Oh, you're closer to Canada. Okay. Yeah, I've been to Chicago uh, once upon a time, and but it was in the summer, and it was it wasn't cold. Let's put it that way. It was pretty hot, and the humidity was pretty insane. Um, yes and no. Where I am in Scotland, it's actually very dry. We don't get very much rain at all. Because of the see what you've got is the west coast is where the weather usually comes in from, and then you've got the highlands and you've got the mountains in the middle. So by the time the weather comes into that area, there's not much precipitation to actually come into the east coast. So it's pretty dry. It's pretty dry. I mean, the last few summers there's been hardly any rain at all. You know, but when it gets cold, it really does get cold. But today's not been so bad. I'm complaining a little bit, but I shouldn't complain too much because it's been pretty decent. You like Chicago, love Chicago and Nashville, your two favorite cities. Yeah, I like Chicago. I didn't see much of it at the time. It was just basically a case of I think 3 days, But I've got a lot of family in Syracuse and Buffalo, and also in Niagara. You know, so the plan is to go back over there this year. The original plan was to be going there in March, funnily enough, but the way things are going, it's not going to be until August. So it's a little bit disappointing, but I'll still look forward to it. Chicago has some great art museums, a decent music scene. Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, yeah. As I say, I didn't see enough of it to actually experience it and appreciate it, if that makes sense. So, what are your plans for today, Honey Bunch? That's actually very true. Sometimes you need to either spend, I don't know, a couple of months there or even live there for a while to actually really realize what that city or town has going on and what they do uh, in general type of thing. You can take your kids sledding. Oh, afternoon work. I hate the mid shift. I hate the mid shift. Well, that's really cool. That's really nice. Hopefully they enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy it as well. Just don't break a leg, like they say. Yeah, it really is the worst because, like, I complain about night shift. I complain about the early shift, and I complain about the mid shift as well, I suppose. So yeah, but mid shift I think is the more difficult one because you're stuck between the late time when you came home or the early time when you've got to get everything done and stuff like that. So no, I I promise I won't jinx you. I'll try my best not to. Just be careful on that sled. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it does, and exactly it does, and it's the longest. It's actually it does always feel the longest shift to do. Um, I think it's because I don't know. I don't know. See, the late one can be the same as well, but you can always find something to do, and you don't have so many people watching over you, if that makes sense. With the mid shift, you've got like there's a lot more stuff going on, and there's people around you and stuff like that, and it can feel like oh, you just want to say oh, get lost, you know. Yep, yep. Hence the reason why I should always take a packed lunch. Now I'm sounding old. Yeah, because I can totally relate to that. Yeah. For me, it's not been so bad. I had an operation a couple of weeks ago, so I was sort of like on leave again, but I was meant to be on leave another time, and so it sort of messed it up a little bit. So I've had to change a lot of plans and things like that. So it was nothing serious. It was well, it felt serious because I'm a drama queen type of thing, you know. Basically, had to get a thing removed out my back, you know, and it was so close to the spine, you know, so I had to be careful. And but I had this thing for 2 years, and it didn't bother me at first, but then it was starting to bother me, and the more I did things, the more I was trying to move. I felt like okay, this thing is really starting to bother me now, so got in touch with the doctors, and they were telling me, "Oh, I might have to wait another 2 years for the operation." So of course, me being me says, "No, I'm not having this. I've had enough now. It's detrimental to what I'm wanting to do. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to make a living." So, and then a few days later, the guy says, "Oh, I've managed to get you into a spot." I thought, "Okay, I'll give it a go." Yeah, yeah. Nothing. Honestly, there's people that go through much worse, Honey Bunch, and but it was strange because they had to keep me awake, um, just just to make sure I wasn't gonna be like I hate to sound over dramatic, but paralyzed and stuff like that. But he kept telling me to, can you move your legs? Can you move your arms? And he kept saying it every 10 minutes. And so I'd do that. I says, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. He goes, are you feeling any pain? And it's like, no, nothing like that. But it was still quite scary at the time, you know. The reason why he was asking me, I knew why he was asking me that because I get it. Because if somebody's um, out cold and unconscious, um, you can't exactly ask them, you know, if they can feel anything or stuff like that, you know. Yeah, Do you know something? It wasn't as scary as you'd think, um, because I sort of knew that'd be the case. I The idea of being put to sleep. I hear you cry, yeah. But the idea of being put to sleep in that sense was more scary because I wouldn't have had the opportunity to say, yeah, yeah, I can feel this, I can feel that. So yeah, I'm all good now. I'm all good. Your coworker was like, "Don't you have enough snacks in your purse? You're a mum." Now I've been bringing string cheese crackers. Yeah, I suppose, but with the mid shift as well, what we're saying earlier on, it's like when you wake up at a certain time, say for example 8, 9 o'clock, the first thing you want to do is have a coffee. Then you got things to do around the house. You've got maybe things to put away and stuff like that, and by the time it comes to you having to leave, you're like, "Oh my god, I haven't actually made anything to eat." Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, honey bunch. I'm absolutely okay. What I'm finding is since this it just came out, the scar tissue is actually giving me a little bit of what we would call jip, and the word jip means stiffness. Stiffness in terms of your back. Yeah, but what I was trying to do, I was trying to, as I said earlier on, I was trying to get my voice right and get the game at the same time. So there was a medium, a happy medium, so I could get 50-50 on both sides. So people could hear me and they could hear the music as well. As I said, Leo, I don't know if you know Blaze and Leo, she's really nice. And she sort of gave me a little bit of heads up saying, "Oh no, it's too loud. It's too low," type of thing. But you need that. You need that because you can't do it by yourself. Um, I don't know yet because what they've done, they've sent it away to a lab. Um, so fingers crossed, I won't need it. Yeah, she's really nice. She's a really nice person. But fingers crossed, I won't need it. But they were there for well over an hour, and I think it was an hour and a half. Really, um, I didn't feel a single thing. Um, and the doctor said to me, he says, "Do you want to look at it?" I was like, "No, no, you're right." And what had happened was, I turned my head to the left, and I saw all these things on a counter. It was like blood and this big thing. I thought, "Oh my god," you know. So hopefully it's not going to be an issue. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully that's the case. I'm sure it'll be fine. You know, I'm one of these people that just get rid of that, whatever that was. Yeah, I'm one of these people that tend to think of, oh, the worst and stuff like that, but you shouldn't really do that. It's funny because when he was doing the operation, he said to me, no, I said to him actually, I said, sometimes I Google too much. And he goes, and he was one of the first doctors that ever said this to me. He says, well, sometimes Google's pretty good. But then, on the other hand of the side, hand of the coin, he says also Google's a lot of crap as well. So I was like, okay. Yeah, but the operation itself went fine. You know, it went absolutely fine. But anyway, everything so far so fine, so good. It's just I'm feeling scar tissue is actually making me a little bit more like stiff in my back again. So I don't want to go back to the doctor and say, "Oh my god, I'm feeling more like discomfort and stuff like that." I just want to get on with things and maybe it'll just work itself out in time. You know, fingers crossed. I'm sure it will. You know. Exactly, exactly. I think it was just more the fact that the cyst was so close to the spine, and it was literally at the left hand side of the spine, and that's why they had to keep me awake. They couldn't put me under general anesthetic. They had to keep me under local, just so I could let them know that I could feel things. He kept touching the bottom of my feet. He kept touching the bottom of my hands, but like my palms, sorry. And he was asking me to move about just to make sure I'm okay and stuff like that. So, but, but I'm good. I'm good. We had a lady doctor in the ER, and she was 101. Doctor was doctor. All right. Okay. Okay. I read that completely wrong. I thought you meant the lady doctor was 101. Yeah, you had a lady that was 101. Was talking to her about her age, and he asked her, and she was proud she outlived Betty White. Yeah, Betty. Oh God, God love her. God love Betty White. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Yeah, Betty White did quite well, you know, and she was one of the funniest people I've ever seen. And I didn't know much about her. The only reason I knew about Betty White was because my mum and dad back in the 80s, they loved a thing called the Golden Girls. And that's where I knew her from. But I knew she'd been in other things later on. She played the sort of like I hate to say this word, but the dumber one, you know, of them. I'm not surprised. At what Yeah, Betty White was like she could be almost like the American version of the Queen. Although the Queen is I suppose the Queen's not doing too well just now, but Betty White was hilarious. She was so funny. And she was from Minnesota, if I remember rightly. I think it was Minnesota, I'm not sure. You love Betty and Dolly Parton. Um, in terms of singing, I'm not sure I'm a big fan of. I mean, I like some of Dolly Parton's songs, but yeah, especially they are national treasures over there. That's for sure. So I didn't really know Betty White until, as I said, the Golden Girls. But I know she'd been in a few things afterwards. Um, but what an age she was! I think she was, yeah, 90 something, 96. Did you say 96, 97, something like that? Dollar has a program you can sign up for, and it sends your kids a book for each month until they are 4. See, that's actually excellent because I think you get a lot of these singers and a lot of these stars that they're in it for themselves, if that makes sense. Somebody that can do that, who's not so I don't know, they're not so egotistical. And Dolly Parton is not a very easy egotistical person. She seems to be somebody that that gives back, type of thing, and she's not got the ego, I'm not so sure about Betty White. I don't know much, as I say, as much about her as I do about about Betty White. But yeah, she's a very humble person, and I've seen movies with Dolly Parton as well, and even though she sort of plays herself, she still comes across as herself, which is not a bad thing as well. Because she's just being herself, even though it might be in a movie. It's different when she's making a song or something like that, because that's what they do. That's what the record producers do, or the people that are behind all um the scenes when it comes to things like that. But she always seems a really nice person, and she's one of these people that I would hope that she lives well over 100 years. I think I think Dolly Parton is probably one of the few people that have been in. I hate to say Hollywood, because I think she's more Nashville than anything else. Yeah, well, as I say, the only reason I had to go live, well, not had to go live, but I was going live, was because I wanted to try and test something out. But yeah, absolutely fine. And thank you for coming up and helping me out a little bit. And it's good to know that you can hear me, because that's actually helped me quite a bit. So you have a fantastic day, and hopefully the sledding is safe, and everything else. And I'll speak to you very soon. Lovely catching up with you. Take care. Take care, honey. Bye.